Good morning, YouTube. Welcome to the channel. I'm Tyler Fikes. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Got a ton more projects coming in the next couple weeks, but today we're going to be working on the big Duramax. I'm going to flip it around in the garage because we're working on the back end of it, and I'm going to be showing you guys how to install Rough Country rear fender liners. And if another brand makes these fender liners, I'm sure it'll work the same exact way. I don't know if they do. I just happen to have the Rough Country ones, and I will link the product down below. So if you guys want this for yourself, down in the description, check it out, and it'll take you right to Rough Country's page, and you can get these for yourself. And it should be a pretty simple install. If you don't have fender flares, it makes it a lot easier, and if you don't have wheel well lights already installed like I do, it also makes it easier. So I have it set up as hard as it can be. So whatever your guys' situation is, this video will help you, because mine is the top level of complications with the added fender flares and Rockwell lights that we're gonna have to work around. So let me show you what I'm talking about. We got the fender liners that add that. It's gonna make it harder. And I have those Rigid Industries rock lights taking up space up there that I think I'm just gonna cut a hole in the fender liner to make it fit around it. But first thing you're gonna wanna do is clean this up. That's not rust, that's a leaf. Clean this up really well, because you are going to be trapping everything inside there. You don't want dirt trapped in there. Get it really clean, and then you're gonna be able to go put it over it. That way you're not trapping dirt and creating possible rust in the future. Look how close the Duramax gets to the garage. We could go up a little bit. Maybe like another ½ inch or so. It gets closer at the front though, so maybe not. Anyways, got the truck backed out part way. Next thing we're gonna be doing is cleaning up in there on both sides so it's ready for the fender liners. All right, now that you got the inside all clean, I'm gonna show you guys a little before, so we know what it looks like before we put them on. I don't really like how it's white in there and it's black up front. I like it to match. A lot of frames look kind of bad too. This one's actually pretty good condition, but it does cover your frame, so make sure you cover your frame too. You don't wanna see that, even though I've painted this black and tried to keep rust off it. Also, when doing this, you're gonna wanna make sure you get up in here. Oh yeah, it's hard to see, so I'm gonna have to go over that again. But you wanna get up inside this lip, because that's where a lot of dirt gets stuck and you can't always see it. And that is right where rust will get trapped and build. So once you got these all clean, you're gonna grab your fender liners, and if you have rock lights like we do, you're going to have to measure exactly where they go on here, measure exactly where that would be on those, and cut the 2 holes as precisely as possible. So I'm gonna do that, and then we'll be ready to install them on the truck. All right, so now that you have your beautiful cut made, what you're supposed to do is take the fender flare off. I am not going to be doing that because it's a lot of extra work, because this is double-sided sticky tape on there and I don't want to replace that, and I'm just not up for that right now. So if you guys want to do that, that is the way to do it, and it'll make it a little bit easier once it's out, but I don't think it's worth the work of taking it off and then putting it back on. So I got my hole cut, and check right around here. It doesn't really show up on camera, but it says DRV, that's driver. So you want that on the driver side, and the other one will say something that means passenger. So just make sure you have the right side, and then all you're gonna do is tuck it up in there, and then you're gonna work this lip back behind this lip, and it's gonna be really tight, and just make sure you get that in. But before you do that, you're gonna wanna grab a 13mm socket, take that bolt and that bolt off, and those are the only 2 you're taking off, and then you're gonna reuse those, so save them to mount this back up, and it already has holes cut for those bolts. All right, now that you got it worked into place, you're gonna wanna start those 2 bolts. Don't tighten them down all the way, just get them started. Then you're gonna need this tool right here to pull each one of these little pins out. I already took them out, they're right there. And there's only going to go through the liner on this one. Everything else doesn't have a hole for it, and it doesn't go that far. This one comes all the way in where you're able to put a pin through it. And now you're gonna wanna work the fender liner on the edges in between the fender flare and the fender itself. All right, so I'm sticking to what I said with you do not need to remove these, but It will make it a lot easier. I removed them, and I would not have removed them if I was planning on putting them back on, but I was looking at this and I was able to peel it up, and I could tell the paint, you can see the paint still looks just as good. I'm just gonna have to clean these really well, and I like the look without the fender flares. So I'm also going to be taking all 4 fender flares off in this video, and it'll just make installing these a whole lot better. So the truck's gonna get all cleaned up, and I am gonna have to clean the crap out of these because that looks god awful right now. So one side done, I will catch up with you guys after we're all done. Just to recap, you're gonna need to pull those pins out regardless of removing this or not, and just work it in between there, clip the pins back in, and you'll be good to go. All right, so I got all the fenders off, and I still have a lot of work to do with that. I have to clean all this, buff it up, get rid of the lines so you can't tell they used to be there. I'm gonna end it here because the purpose of this video was just the install on this, and I am done with this. All I did was the 2 bolts, and then you tuck it up behind this, and once you get it in, it's really tough, but just don't give up. Just keep tucking it in, work from one corner all the way around to the other, and once it's all in, you can grab it like this, and it just clicks in place and it's not going anywhere. So I haven't even really touched this side yet. It's still super messy. But once you get it in, it's in, and then that looks a whole lot better than white and frame and rust and whatever you have under there. So that's a good way to clean it up and hide the back of the truck. And here's the after with all the fenders off and the back matching the front. Anyways, I hope that helped somebody install their fender liners. If it did, make sure to give a thumbs up, leave a comment. Make sure to subscribe if you guys like the truck, anything like that. Thank you for watching. Until next time, see you guys later.